Welcome to the Rapport Advantage podcast, transforming the way leaders communicate. Here's your host, Alex Swire-Clark.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Hey there, everybody.
It's Liz and Alex again today. Welcome to the Rapport Advantage podcast. We're excited to have you with us today. If you haven't listened to our podcast before, we are here to help you break down the walls of miscommunication, increase your emotional intelligence, and build better relationships in the workplace and beyond. So we're excited about doing that every show that we take on in this crazy, wild podcasting world. As I said, and as Johnny said, Alex Swire-Clark is my name. CEO, speaker, and certified human behavior expert is kind of my game. And the lovely, talented Liz Parker is here with us today.
All right. Thank you, Alex. I am Liz Parker, and I'm happy to be back. I appreciate being the co-host on this show. And I am a certified behavioral analyst that works with DISC. Also, I do strategic growth and strategic consulting for people, as well as I'm a job benchmarking guru.
I like guru. That's a good word. I'm a guru. I like that. This show is all about you, the listener. That's right. So give us your input and feedback, because that will help us make the show better, and it will provide you with content that you actually want to listen to, if what you have heard so far isn't, which would be kind of bad. However, you can find us on Facebook at The Rapport Advantage, on Twitter at Rapport Podcast, or visit the website at rapportadvantage.com, or you can go to alexswireclark.com. That will get you to the same website. You can leave a digital message through our SpeakerPipe app. It's pretty much the coolest thing ever. Simply hit record, and it sends us your audio message. And as long as you're not sending that while spelunking in a cave somewhere, we can understand you, then we can hopefully take that and put it on a podcast in the future and address your question and get you an answer that you are looking for. That is our goal.
That'd be kind of cool to have some of those come in, wouldn't it?
That's right. We're seeking those, and we're going to get some here in the not too distant future. Today's show, we're going to be discussing the inspiring type of those high eyes. And in case you couldn't tell, you're listening to two of them right now. So we're going to try to be impartial.
Objective.
That's right. Objective and impartial, even though we know eyes are the best. Okay, so we covered the basics of the four main styles: the dominant style, inspiring style, supportive style, and the compliant or cautious style. We covered those in episode 2, so if you need to go back and get a quick disc refresher, that would be the episode you would want to go and listen to. For the I's and the 3 other styles that are discussed in this 4-part series, we're going to first describe the characteristics of each using a letter I word to describe those styles. And
Very creative.
We're going to try to be creative. And then we're going to talk about the likes of each style, what they like to do and how do they like to be supported, looked at, viewed, what have you. With the goal of, as we talk about every show, number 1, understanding ourselves. So if you're an I out there, this is all about you, which is what we like anyway, because it's always all about us. So our goal, number 1, to understand ourselves. Number 2, understand others. And then number 3, being able to adapt our style to meet others where they are, to, again, improve that communication, avoid miscommunication, build those better relationships, and make those connections that much more quickly. Our disc thought of the day is brought to you by the letter K. Oh, no, sorry, it's the wrong show. Liz, what is our disc thought of the day?
It is the way I see myself isn't the way that others see me. So as we talked about with D's, and you think about how we talked about D's see themselves as very passionate, driven, focused. They're all the entrepreneurial, want to get this done. And what ends up happening is some of us see them as very domineering, over the top, some of those other D words we use that are not quite as nice. So we just need to be aware that the way I see myself isn't always the way that others see me. So we live in 2 different worlds. Perception is not always reality, but sometimes it is.
Sometimes it is. And the flip side of that, Liz, is as I's or S's maybe, we really appreciate the D's driven nature to the point that sometimes we think, hey, I wish I was that more focused, or I wish I had that much, get up and go power, and to be able to put in those 14, 16-hour days and just really crunch it and go and get after it all the time. And so sometimes there's some edification that those people need to have because of their talents and skills that they don't see in themselves. Because the D's might see, oh, well, I'm spending 16-hour days. I might be not being as good of a dad as I could be, or I might not be spending enough time eating healthy or exercising or whatever, without appreciating all the positives behind who they truly are. So that's the flip side of not seeing ourselves. So that's a good thought of the day to start this episode.
Thank you.
Way to come up with that. That's awesome. All right, down to the nitty gritty. High I personalities. As a quick refresher, I's are outgoing and people-oriented. That means if you're looking at a disc graph, your D's are in the upper left corner, I's are in the upper right-hand corner, S's in the lower right-hand corner, C's in the lower left. And people-oriented folks are on that right-hand side of the graph. Task-oriented people on the left. They are outgoing and they're people-oriented. So they're little bundles of energy. Think about the Energizer Bunny going all the time, whee, and having a party. That's your high I. Comedians are often this type. One of our examples that we use is Robin Williams. He was just a fantastic improvisational dynamo. If you've never watched Inside the Actor Studio with the episode of him on there, it's absolutely phenomenal. Look it up on YouTube sometime. It is totally great. And of course, Oprah Winfrey is another example of a high I. She's always bigger than life, giving to others.
Yeah, I love Oprah.
Oprah's just always positive. You can see why people gravitate towards her because she's got just that glow all the time. And so she's great. We've got a couple quotes from these two people today, Liz.
We do. And I'd like to start with the Oprah quote because I'm more Oprah-like. And I'd like to leave the Robin Williams quote for you because you embody his spirit anyway. Passion is energy. Feel the power that comes from focusing on what excites you. We are all about excitement. We're all about the party. We're all about just being out there and being in life. So I just wanted to do Oprah's and let you do Robin's. Would you do Robin's?
I can do Robin's. His quote is, "I'm sorry. If you were right, I'd agree with you."
I knew you'd do that timing right.
I can't do it today, man. Sorry, because you're not right. Good old Robin. He was so
Rest
good.
in peace.
Rest in peace. He was so talented. All right, so getting to our words, we'll have our 6 words today that describe our inspiring types, our high I personalities, and we're going to, as usual, we'll have a watchword at the end of that list we have to be on the lookout for if you're high I to make sure that you got to be cautious with that one. So anyway, as we said, our first word is inspiring, and so there's no better example. In 2 weeks from today's episode, roughly 2 weeks, we're going to be celebrating the birthday of Martin Luther King Jr., who inspired a nation with his words, his actions, his passion for civil rights and doing what this country needed to have done many, many years prior to. So you can't get much of a better example than Martin Luther King Jr. for being an inspiring type.
That's definitely true. And influencing is the other word that comes to mind when we're talking about our high I's. I like to think about it as we are all about our persuasiveness. We don't control people's decisions usually. And personally, I don't in the business that I'm in. So I have to find ways to link people, kind of get them to see my way. And one of the strengths I have is being able to kind of influence them into my line of thinking. That's just the persuasiveness of a high I.
Yeah, we like that quick thinking mentality and to be able to kind of meet them where they are and then think of something a little bit different. Oh, what about over here? And what about over here? And a little bit of a unique way to get them to say, oh, I might not have thought of that perspective. And, aha, now you're turning the corner. You're thinking like me, which is what we want. Our third word is impressionable. Eyes are extremely impressionable. The last meal we had was the best meal we ever had. The last movie we saw, best movie ever. I just recently saw the Last Jedi. It was very good. I wouldn't say it was my favorite of all time, and not my favorite in the series, but it was good. And so, we're very impressionable in terms of having something stay with us just in that fleeting moment, and it's kind of gone. So,
boy, that's a perfect example, Alex, because when you just talked about the last meal, it made me think about the next word in our description is interactive. And I am all about making sure that when I entertain, I make people come into the kitchen and actually they are interactively working with the dinner. They're setting the table. They're helping me chop things up. They're doing something. I don't let anybody just stand there and watch. I want it to feel like an event, some kind of an experience they came to. So we're all about doing things with others.
And the thing that separates the I from the D, I's like to do things. They like to do things with others. Whereas a D doesn't necessarily have to be doing it with someone else. In fact, sometimes those people kind of tend to get in their way when they're trying to accomplish those tasks because, again, a D is outgoing and task-oriented. Whereas we just as I's like to just be in the middle of things and, hey, let's have a party and get together and just enjoy each other's company. So I've said we 5 times. I need to stop. I told myself I was going to stop.
I know. Sorry.
I can't help it. I'm an I. It's what I am. Number 5 on that list is impressive. And I'm not talking about from the standpoint of we've got tons of money or tons of success, but impressive in terms of how they communicate, using big gestures, loud words, crazy outfits. They are the first ones to volunteer. They are the ones that want to get out there and just be big and be bold. The crazier, the better. Bungee jumpers, adrenaline junkies, that kind of thing. The worst thing that you can do to an I is isolate them from folks.
Yeah, no doubt about that. If they're isolated, they are out of it, aren't they?
It's very, very interesting. My wife is a high CD. We'll talk about her and my ways that we work together and sometimes don't work together very well. But we recently took a vacation, and for her, the best part of the vacation was when she had a book and was over there by herself in a chair, just reading away from the world.
Away from all the 5 children.
And my favorite part was getting after it in the middle of just the mayhem of the ship and getting involved with people who are playing board games and just getting around other people. That's how I get my energy.
Well, that's a good example of you being involved.
Oh, that's true. Nice segue.
No, please continue, because involved is our 6th word and they want to be in the middle of everything. And you described that perfectly, Alex. I mean, I can't imagine the ship did not give you that spot to be in.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. From there was a Harry Potter trivia challenge, and I was in the middle of that. And of course, as the answers were coming, I was like, nailed it, nailed it. There were 30 questions. I got 27.5 out of 30. So I was like, yeah, I knew an answer, and half the crew was like, boo, why didn't you know that? So it was fun.
That gets into recognition that we'll talk in a little bit.
I don't need any recognition. I just like Harry Potter. Expecto Patronum. Okay. All right. Our watchword, our word that we've got to be mindful of that describes I's, and I will gladly stand up and raise my hand. This is me more often than I would like to admit. But I's, sometimes you can be illogical. Sometimes you got a task, you got a list for the grocery store. It's 7 items long. God bless you. You come home with 5 things, and I don't know what happened. And my wife doesn't know what happened. Oh, I'm sorry. Was I incriminating myself? I apologize. I don't know what happened. There were 7 things. Sweetie, did you get the celery?
You forgot to look at the list.
Yes, it was on the list. Yeah, it's right there, isn't it? Well, I saw Bob. He and I used to play tennis together, and I got distracted, and I was trying to transition and then walk away, and totally missed the celery. And my wife, who is a high CD, that very detail-oriented, task-oriented person, is about to lose her ever-living mind. She just cannot understand. I gave you the list. Well, all you got to do is just pick up the stuff on the list. It's right there. So
that will be a good episode. We should talk about marriages, because we can really hit that one on another episode, couldn't we?
Oh dear. My wife and I are polar opposites. We'll cross that bridge in one of these podcasts coming up soon.
Well, I got to tell you that, in each of the episodes, we talked about that I'm going to give the emotional response word. And it's not really an emotional response if you're looking at it from an I perspective, but the word is optimism. We believe the impossible can be done. So, no matter what, think of us as the little Chicken Littles. The sky is never going to fall on us. We are the opposite. It's not falling. We will never be that thing that thinks that we cannot manage everything. I just realized I said Chicken Little thinks that the sky is never going to fall. So wrong.
That's okay. We can be the anti-Chicken Little. We can be Chicken Big.
Thank you.
Chicken Large. Chicken Huge.
Creative.
I like Chicken Huge now. I'm Chicken Big and the sky's never fall. But you're right. And from a hiring perspective, if you're an HR person, and we have a lot of high eyes in HR because they're people-oriented. If you're an HR person, that first person that walks in who's smiling, has a great, great attitude, forget their skill set, you're sold in the first 30 seconds because you like them. But you have to kind of pull back a little bit before we have a nasty crash. We've got to look at the skill set. We've got to look at everything about the candidate. It's just not a matter of they told a funny joke and they made me laugh, because ultimately you could go through the resume. If you don't do your personality assessments and your job benchmarking, then you're going to end up with a buzz on a candidate, and you just spent hours, money, time. So again, we're going to talk about hiring and why job benchmarking is so important, and interview skills, and in terms of how to look for people when you're doing your personality profiles, and what categories fit which occupations and which kinds of jobs. And there's just a plethora of information out there about that we're going to be excited to share with you and make you a better HR team member and a better coordinator of that. So we're excited.
Yep, definitely.
Okie dokie. So the likes of these particular personality styles in the eyes today, eyes like to be liked. I mean, we do. We want people to like us. And when you're in the business world, it's difficult for eyes to hear that word no, because they're not saying no to the product. They're saying no to me.
We take it personally.
We do take it personally, and we shouldn't.
Man.
We shouldn't, but that's just kind of how we're wired, and but we like to be liked, and we want everyone, having a good time. We want to be in that center of attention, and that was a funny joke, or that was a cool dance move, or that was some great pecan pie you made, or whatever else. We just want people to like us and to to feel good when they're around us.
So the second one, because I want to jump in there right now, because the second one is all about to express our ideas and feelings, their ideas and feelings. As high eyes, they are all about making sure they get their point across. They want to make sure that everybody knows how they feel. They're kind of emotional, I shouldn't say wrecks, but we do tend to fly off the handle. See, it's a me thing. So just be aware that a high eye wants to have that center of attention, and they want a chance to express their ideas and feelings, and they cannot be quiet until they've had that chance. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and if they don't, it's hard times. People do not understand. I mean, we gotta say what we need to say. It may not make a lick of sense. It may not be coherent, but we need to say what we need to say. And then, if you need to just brush us away and say, "Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Now run along." Sometimes that will happen to us.
At least acknowledge us. But that's the third point too, is the other thing that we like is being able to be in front of a group. And whether we are logical or illogical at that moment, it doesn't matter, because we just want to be in the front of the group. We want to make sure all eyes are on us. We want to make sure that when we walk into a room, people know we've entered and they've acknowledged us, because if they haven't, we're going to make some kind of noise till somebody notices.
I'm here. Hello. Hello.
Oh, I need to travel with that.
That's right. Attention, please. That was me coming in the room. Did you see me? And as speakers and as consultants and workshop trainers, a lot of high eyes in that space, and we just enjoy it. We enjoy that being in front of people, sharing information, providing value to people. We really enjoy that, because then folks say, "Oh, I got something out of that." Well, I'm done. I mean, checkbox. I mean, I can have. It
feeds us.
It does. If I've got 500 people in the audience, and one of them comes up to me after one of my talks and says, "You know what? That really applied to me and my son. I'm going to go home and work on this. You give me a starting point. Thank you so much." I'm like, done. Mission accomplished. I mean,
paid.
Exactly. It's just whatever headache I had to go through to get to that point, then I'm there. And when we talk about the Americans' number one fear, and it's public speaking, not for eyes. Eyes just love it. Give us a handful of people or 5,000 people. We want to get out there and have a good time.
Can I just say that is one of the issues when we were talking about the podcast, is that for us, we have to have each other to banter off of. So that's why we want our listeners sending us in some mail, because we want to know you're out there so we can connect with you.
That's right. Connections are huge for us in terms of finding out what values you want from this podcast, what kind of questions you want answered. And we just like to talk to people, and make connections. And if we can help you in any way, we certainly will do that. We are number 4 on that list. We like surprises. Nothing like a good surprise when you come home and there's, chocolate chip cookies. I mean, it doesn't take much. Anything that was different from the last time you walked in the house.
The dishwasher empty. That's my big surprise.
What? I mean, let's have a party, man. A kid emptied a dishwasher? Are you kidding me? I mean,
yes.
Woo! I mean, that's just let's celebrate. Have a good time. I didn't have to crack a whip on a kid. Man, that's awesome. I'll take that. So yeah, we like surprises, whether it be gifts or whatever happens to be. Just little things that are positive in our lives, kind of keep us going and give us some perks of energy. We also love lots of fun activities. I love fun activities. I am a board gamer. Love to board game with my friends. We will take.
What's your favorite one?
Oh dear, that's like asking me what's my favorite flavor ice cream at Baskin Robbins. You just can't do it.
Got it.
There's so many good ones out there, and this is not a board gaming podcast, but my point is that my friends and I will get together twice a year, and we'll spend a weekend doing nothing but playing board games. And these aren't your mom's board games like Monopoly or Bonkers or Payday or anything like that. These are cooperative games. These are the group versus the game, where the game tries to get you. These are really, really just fun things that I enjoy. And again, I'm around other people, and we're having a good time, and we're cooking some food, and just very, very enjoyable way for me to spend time. I'm energized by that, as opposed to getting away by myself to in a hammock with a book. That's just forget about it. That's not how I recharge. And eyes are recharged by people as opposed to being drained by them.
That is for sure. And, when you mentioned that just alone, I thought about the words we've already talked about. You like to be involved. You like to be interactive. It's all about being able to be inspired by being out there in those games with your friends.
Yeah, we definitely have a good time. And I guess if you had to pin me down, my favorite game right now is called Pandemic Legacy.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a game that takes place over a 12-month period in the game. You don't play for 12 months in the real world, but you're trying to save the world from 4 diseases that you're trying to eradicate. It's pretty cool. So
that is not your average board game.
No, it's not by any means. So Pandemic Legacy, check it out.
All right, perfect. Well, one of the other likes that is really important to us is to make sure that we get recognition. And I can't emphasize this one enough, because you were mentioning earlier, Alex, that if you just can't get somebody to quit talking and they're a high I, give them a little recognition that great ideas, great, you're right on track. And that might help them to see they've made their point and they can quit talking by then. But we are all about being the center of attention, being recognized for, being the contributor for anything that we've done within our business environment or in our personal environment.
That's very, very true. And the example that I often use when I'm speaking to organizations is I'll be out on the lawnmower, and I've been out there and I've weed eated, and it's taken me 2 hours, and I come back in and my wife says, honey, the yard looks fantastic. At that point,
yes,
I want to go out there and mow like 12 more yards right there. Like, bring them on, baby. 'Cause I'm the lawnmower machine. And that also goes back to a little bit about love languages and words of affirmation for me specifically. But when we're recognized by those that are close to us, friends, coworkers, family, and they tell us that we've done a good job, that just rejuvenates us, energizes us, has us contributing more and more in a more positive way, just because we know that they appreciated what we did.
I might point out, too, that we must be indirect speakers, because it takes us longer to get to our point, doesn't it?
Yes. If you listen to our last podcast with the Ds right now are saying, land your plane, man, land your plane.
Exactly.
So in terms of the general population, we talked about our high Ds last time represent 10% of the population, the general population roughly. I's represent roughly 25 to 30% of the population, so nearly triple that of the Ds. Sorry, Ds, we outnumber you, but we do love you, though.
Yes, we do.
The high I's entertain us and make the world a more fun, lovely place to be.
And as you can tell, Alex is one of the best entertainers, aren't you, Alex? No, you are one of the best entertainers.
No.
Self-deprecating. Come on, you are too.
Okay, maybe. Oh, dear. Okay, well, we're going to stop that train right there. That's going to do it for today's show before I start glowing with embarrassment. I'd like to thank Liz Parker, my cohort in crime, for joining me today. Liz, how can folks get in touch with you?
They can email me at liz@ltresults.com or visit my website at ltresults.com. And I'd love to hear from them. Alex, tell us a little bit this time about who you are, what you do, and how to get in touch with you.
In terms of what I do, whether that be from the platform as a speaker or in a workshop, I'm all about creating better teams and reducing workplace conflict. There's so many different applications with DISC. And so when people say, well, what do you do? Well, I work with DISC in a number of different ways. And so whether that be through church organizations, whether that be in, working with C-suite folks on how to better communicate with their direct reports, whether that be with working with HR folks on how to hire better, whether it be, okay, let's work with sales teams and how to more effectively interact with prospects when they're in the different parts of the pipeline. It all depends on what your needs are, but anything that has to do with communication, personality insights, or building better relationships, that's kind of what I do.
Excellent. And how can they get in touch with you?
They can visit us at therapportadvantage.com. Our Facebook page is The Rapport Advantage. Follow the show on Twitter at Rapport Podcast. Liz and I are both on LinkedIn as well, so look for us there. Again, if you like what you're hearing, please leave us a review on iTunes. We absolutely, certainly, positively, 100% appreciate your spending time with us today. We're going to be expanding the podcast as we go through, talking about what you want to hear. So that feedback is important. Anytime that you have a question, comment, concern, something you want to hear about, please let us know. Our next episode, we're going to be moving on to the kind and wonderful supportive types, those high S's.
Yeah, those team
Thanks
players.
for listening to the Rapport Advantage
Glue
podcast.
Of the organization,
We'd love
really
to hear
glue
from
of the
you.
world.
Join the
if you wanna be
conversation on
honest
Facebook
about
at the Rapport
without those
Advantage.
high
And
S's.
follow us on Twitter
Things
at
that fall
Rapport
apart.
Podcast.
Exactly. Absolutely. So we're excited about talking about the S's. So again, for my guest this week, Liz Parker, we appreciate you taking time with us. Thanks so much, and we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.